Hello everyone, welcome to this new series of the previous year question discussion. In the preparation of civil services, prelims previous year question plays a very important role, and in this series I will be discussing polity questions that have been asked from few topics since 2011 till 2023 prelims paper. Okay, when you are preparing for the prelims exam, ensure that you go through the syllabus and previous year questions together so that you know from which portion you have to dedicate your time more. Okay, so let us begin with the questions from Indian polity. So first we will discuss the questions from the salient features of the Indian Constitution. In last 10 years there have been one question almost every year from this topic. Okay, so that means the basic of the constitution has always been a priority for the UPSC and it continues to be a priority, and the questions from this topic are very conceptual and very simple. Okay, now look at this question: which of the following statement best reflects the chief purpose of the constitution of a country? They are just asking what is the chief purpose, why the constitution of a country is made. Okay, the first option, it determines the objective for the making of necessary law. It means it is defining any kind of objective. It enables the creation of a political offices and government. It defines and limits the power of the government. It secures social justice, social equality and social security. Just understand, the purpose of the constitution, particularly a written constitution, is to ensure that the governance and the government is acting within the some limitations. That means the purpose of the constitution is to have a limited government. It's a very famous question asked by civil services examinations, that the purpose of the constitution is the limited government. So looking at these options, it defines and limits the purpose of the government. It means when it is defining and limiting the powers of the government, that is, it means identifying to have a limited government in a country. So the answer to this question is C. Okay, and when we discuss these questions, we are discussing the questions with the answers that are given by the UPSC answer keys, because in polity every year there are few questions which are very confusing because of the various interpretations related to those questions. So we will also see what the answer UPSC has provided. Though this is 2023 exam, the answer key is not yet released, so we however know, because of the previous year question, that the answer is C. Okay, so the chief purpose is to define and limit the powers of the government. Okay, the second question: which of the following in Indian polity is an essential feature that indicates that it is federal in character? Now in polity it is very important for us to read the question properly, though it is important in every subject, but in polity you have to read the question because we need to identify whether it is asking generally or whether it is asking specifically to India. So here it is asking specifically to India, that which of the following in Indian polity is an essential feature. It means it is not asking in general a character, federal character, it is asking for federal character in India. Indicates federal character. First, the independence of judiciary is safeguarded. Understand, never just tick the first option. Even though the first option may be correct, read all the options. The union legislature has elected representative from the constituent units. The union cabinet can have elected representatives from the regional party. The fundamental rights are enforceable by courts of law. These all statements are correct, but we need to know which is indicating the federal character. Now, independence of judiciary is safeguarded. It is the right answer, that in order to protect the federal character, the independence of judiciary in India is safeguarded. Second option is also correct, that the union legislature has elected representative from the constituent unit, but this is happening in the UK also, but UK is not a federal structure. UK is unitary. The union cabinet can have elected representative from the regional parties. It can happen where there is a multi-party system, not necessarily that multi-party system is also having a federal structure. Fundamental rights are enforceable by court of law. It can happen in a unitary structure also. Okay, so answer is A, the independence of judiciary is safeguarded. Now third, which of the following best defines the term state? Now in order to understand this question, we must first understand what is the meaning of the term state. But a state consists of four things. Those four things is that first there should be a territory. There should be a territory. It means in order to consider anything as a state, there should be a territory. Second, in this territory, there should be a population living. There should be a population living. Third, there should be a government in that region. They should have their autonomous government, and that government is sovereign. It means internationally you are accepted as a sovereign entity, then only that entity will be considered as a nation state or state. So which of the following defines the term state? It is not asking Article 12 definition of state, Article 36 definition of state. It is asking the term state in general. So don't get confused. A community of person permanently occupying a definite territory independent of external control and possessing an organized government. We are looking for these features. First is fulfilling these features, right? Second, a politically organized people of a definite territory possessing an authority to govern, maintain law and order, protect their natural rights and safeguard their means of sustenance. It has everything, but it does not mention about sovereignty. Third, a number of persons who have been living in a definite territory for a very long time with their own culture, tradition and government. It is also including all, but it does not include sovereignty. A society permanently living in a definite territory with a central authority, executive responsible to the central authority and an independent judiciary. Again, it is not talking about sovereignty, because sovereignty shall be both internal and external. All these units are only talking about the internal sovereignty, but we also need the external sovereignty for considering anything as a state. So the answer A is correct. Which of the following factors constitutes the best safeguard of liberty in a liberal democracy? Now, in a liberal democracy, the protection of liberty is very, very important, because if the liberty is not protected, then we cannot expect the people to have the fulfillment of the rights that are provided in a democracy. Now, in this, they are saying committed judiciary. Committed does not mean committed in their work. This statement, some of the candidates, they interpreted it, the judiciary committed towards delivering justice. Committed judiciary, committed bureaucracy, it represents a negative purpose. That means the judiciary is committed towards the government. The commitment of judiciary towards the government is not appreciated. It means we need an independent judiciary, not a committed judiciary. So this is wrong. Centralization of power. There shall be power which is decentralized or the power which is devolved. Centralization of power is directing towards the statement that absolute power can lead to problems that may not be handled properly, right? So we cannot consider this as a option. Elected government. A government may be elected, but that do not necessarily protect the liberal democracy. It generally does, but it is not a necessary requirement. Separation of power is the answer, because when there is separation of power, the legislature, executive and judiciary, they are acting independently, and when they are acting independently, they can protect or they can provide checks and balances whenever any organ is violating for the purpose they have been created. Okay. Then a parliamentary system of government is one in which. So they are not asking parliamentary system of government of India, they are asking about the parliamentary system in India general. Okay, so all political parties in the parliament are responsible, are represented in the government. It is so totally wrong, because in the parliament all political parties are not represented in the government. Only the parties which have majority, maybe one party or an alliance, they are represented. The government is responsible to the parliament and be removed by them. It seems correct, but we have to read all the options. The government is elected by the people and can be removed by them. Government is elected by the people, true. Can be removed by them? Let us discuss this. The government is chosen by the parliament but cannot be removed by it before completion of fixed term. That is also wrong. There can always be a no confidence motion. Now government is responsible to the parliament and can be removed by them. This is the answer, because people are electing the MPs in Lok Sabha, but the people do not have the power to remove them. That power only lies with the parliament. Parliament, particularly Lok Sabha. Even Rajya Sabha does not have the power to remove the government, because no confidence motion cannot be introduced in Rajya Sabha. Okay, so answer is B. Now consider the following statements. The Constitution of India defines its basic structure in terms of federalism, secularism, fundamental rights and democracy. The Constitution of India provides for judicial review to safeguard the citizens' liberties and to preserve the ideals on which the Constitution is based. One only, two only, both, neither. The Constitution defines. No, Constitution has not defined or mentioned the term basic structure. This doctrine was given by the Honorable Supreme Court in the Keshavanand Bharati case when they established the doctrine of basic structure. So the first statement is wrong. The Constitution of India provides for judicial review to safeguard the citizens' liberties and to preserve the ideals on which the Constitution is based. This statement is also wrong. This statement might create a confusion that yes, judicial review is provided to safeguard the liberties, but the purpose of the judicial review is to ensure that the Constitution is safeguarded. The purpose of the judicial review is to ensure that whatever the government, the executive and legislature is doing to protect whatever is mentioned in the honorable Constitution. Judicial review is the power to interpret the Constitution. It is not specifically to protect the citizens' liberty, because Article 21 says that even the right to life or liberty, it can be restricted through a procedure established by law, and now even through due process of law. Okay, it means the answer D is the answer to this question. UPSC has also chosen D as the correct answer. So even if you have a confusion, whatever the UPSC says, we have to accept it as the answer for the previous year questions. Which of the following is not a feature of Indian federalism? Okay, so they are not asking a feature. Read the question very properly, and if you noticed, UPSC is asking two questions again, the nature of parliament and the nature of federal structure. Okay, but here they are asking which is not. There is an independent judiciary in India. Yes. Powers have been clearly divided between center and the states. Yes. The federating units have been given unequal representation Rajya Sabha. Yes. It is the result of an agreement among the federating unit. No. And it means we have to find not a feature, so answer will be D. In India, we do not have any agreement for having a federal structure. In India, the federal structure is only for administrative convenience. The only purpose of having the constitution in India or federal structure in India is because of the administrative convenience, and that is why the parliament and only the parliament has the power under Article 3 to have creation of states, merging of state, altering the boundary of the state, or converting a state into a union territory, because federal structure is not something which have been due to an agreement, like that something which was there in the United States of America, which is a federation because of an agreement. Okay. Now, what are the main advantage of parliamentary form of government is? So they are asking the main advantage of the parliamentary form. It means they are not asking which is the advantage. So amongst them you have to choose the best answer. Okay, you have to choose the best answer, that which are the following is the main advantage. The executive and legislature work independently. Here it is wrong, because we have seen in the parliamentary form of government the executive comes from the legislature. It is a feature of presidential system. It provides continuity of policy and more efficient. It is also not correct, because where we have the parliamentary system, there is an option of no confidence motion. There they have chosen responsibility over stability and continuity. The executive remains responsible to the legislature. This is correct, but we will not jump to the answer without reading the all statements. The head of the government cannot be changed without the election. This answer statement is totally wrong. Reason being, in India, head of the government is not elected. Changing is a very different thing. When the head of the government is not elected, the head of the government can be changed also without election. In India, head of the government, that is Prime Minister, is an appointed authority. Prime Minister is appointed, though Prime Minister has to be a member of Lok Sabha, or becomes one, or member of any of the House of Parliament, or becomes one within 6 months, or is a member of any of the or either of the house when the person is appointed. So answer is C. The executive remain responsible to the legislature. Now next question. There is a parliamentary system of government in India because. Why there is a parliamentary form of system? Let us see. Lok Sabha is elected directly by the people. Parliament can amend the constitution. Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved. Council of Ministers is responsible to Lok Sabha. Now, why we have chosen parliamentary system? We chose parliamentary system because we wanted to have responsibility. We have the responsibility that we wanted to ascertain by the parliament, or the government should be responsible. So, Council of Ministers is responsible to Lok Sabha is the answer. Other statements are correct, but that was not the reason for having parliamentary system. For example, in USA also House of Representatives is elected. In USA also, though the rigid constitution they have, but they can also amend the constitution. In USA also the Senate cannot be dissolved, but USA is not a parliamentary system. Now, in the context of India, which of the following is or are implied institutionally in the parliamentary government? It means they are asking which is implied in the parliamentary government. Members of the cabinet are members of the parliament. This statement is not wrong. This statement is not completely correct, because members of the cabinet without being the member of parliament can also function for maximum 6 months. Ministers hold the office till they enjoy confidence in the parliament. It is also not wrong or completely correct, because ministers, they enjoy confidence of Lok Sabha, not parliament. Third, cabinet is headed by the head of the state. Cabinet headed by the head of the state is totally wrong, because cabinet is headed by head of the government, that is Prime Minister. It means third statement is totally wrong. Third is totally wrong. Third is totally wrong. Third is totally wrong. So answer will be A, 1 and 2 only. It means we have to choose not always which is the most correct. We also have to eliminate something which is totally wrong. So answer to this is A, 1 and 2 only.